year. Now, friends, we're on Hebrew date, the 17th of Kislev, Yud Zayin Kislev. It marks the Hilula of a great Kabbalist, המקובל, Rabbi Yakov Lopes Z'tl, one of the great rabbis, great Chalabi rabbis, from Aram Sova, respectively. In fact, I believe their family was a rabbinic dynasty from around approximately 300 years worth of great rabbis, a chain of rabbis inside the family. Very much one of the greatest rabbinic families for sure, came from Syria in Jewish history in of itself. Very interesting enough, his father's name was Rabbi Nisim Lopez. And he himself happened to be a very great rabbi from Aleppo in Chalab. And the family would eventually, as we're going to learn, he is going to eventually make Aliyah in the year 1913. So he was born in Chalab, in Aleppo, and he would later on, among his, one of the jobs he would do, or one of the tasks he was the president and the Gabbai of the חברת, Mלביש, Arumim. And many, many people would come and listen to his drashot, his sermons, and his Torah classes within regards to the whole vicinity in of itself. And it was very, very powerful, very, very, let's say, Kiruv-orientated rabbi, and many people would listen to not just his Torah teachings from the previous generations in of itself. As we said before, in the Hebrew year, Hey Taf Reish Ayin Gimel, I believe that was around the year 1913, they made Aliyah, and I believe they moved to Jerusalem, one of the four holy cities of Israel in of itself, and would go in Jerusalem. I believe he would become one of the Talmidim, or the famous rabbi, famous Kabbalist, Rabbi Mordechai Shirabi, really, really great rabbi in of itself, very, very great rabbi, and there was many great rabbis at that point in time, and he would be learning there. Remember, Rabbi Mordechai Shirabi would actually be the founder of the famous Yeshivat Nahar Shalom. I don't know if he was learning there specifically at that point in time, Rabbi Yakov was, but he was learning under his auspices. He was a Talmid of his. He got married, his wife's name was Rabbanit Chana, and they would have many sons, including Rabbi Abraham, Rabbi Eliyahu. I believe we actually did a video on Rabbi Eliyahu Lopez. I think his Hilula himself was at the start of the month of Tammuz. Rabbi Nisim, Rabbi Shalom Aaron, and these were among his great sons in himself. Many of them obviously became great Talmidim. He would do many in Jerusalem, would be learning, teaching over there. Also, his son, Rabbi Eliyahu, actually would eventually become a great Talmud and a teacher in Porat Yosef. And I believe, if I'm not mistaken, was one of the head rabbis in Porat Yosef in the early years. And I think he was a rabbi of Chacham Ovadia Yosef. Rabbi Ovadia Yosef later on become the chief rabbi of Israel, I believe, between the years 1973 to 1983, and probably become one of the most famous Sephardi rabbanim in Jewish history, without a doubt. Chacham Ovadia Yosef was his son Rabbi Eliyahu, I believe, became the one of the rabbis of him. He passed away, I believe it was in the year 1937, and he was one of the great rabbis at that point in time. So it was approximately, from time of recording, of about 86, 87 years ago, he passed away. And please learn more about him. He was one of the great rabbis from Chalab in of itself. When the early rabbi, there was a big drove of Syrian Jewish people that came, especially in the early 1900s, to the land of Israel, even before the year 1948. It was a time period in Israel where Torah scholarship was flourishing. Many of these yeshivot, Kabbalah was thriving. There was famous yeshivat Bet El in Israel at that point in time in Jerusalem. Nahar Shalom had just opened up, I think, by the time period that when he passed away, and there were many great rabbis of it. So please don't forget to light candles in the great rabbis' memory. Yud Zayin Kislev, he was buried in Israel. And his Hilula is then המקובל Rabbi Yakov Lopes Z'tl, one of the great rabbis from Chalab in of itself. I believe it was actually buried in Har Zaitim, the Mount of Olives burial plot. Now, friends, we've already covered over here probably about 50 Syrian rabbis in this series, great rabbis of yesteryear. We've covered more than 530 great Chachamim. Please, if you happen to be related to any of these great Rabbanim, please send me an email. I'd love to know and learn more information about them. This is the Lopez rabbinic dynasty family in of itself were really, really great Rabbanim. If you happen to be related, let me know. Please share the videos if you feel people are interested, and subscribe to the channel. We are a community here. We're learning about the great rabbis of yesteryear, and I'm wishing you all well and blessings here from Israel. Take care.